Okay, so let's get started for today. So today we'll try to understand, if you remember on day one of Python, I made introduction to data structures and data types, right? So today we'll try to take the data structures, understand the different data structures which Python provides us, and how we can make use of those data structures ahead in PySpark. Okay, cool. So the first thing today we'll try to understand is a list. Okay, so we have already seen the introduction. So the introduction, what we have seen about list is, okay, a list can be defined, let's say, as a collection of values, okay, collection of values of elements or items, you can say, okay, elements or items of different types, okay. And what we have seen, like, yeah, so the items in the list, okay, are separated by comma, right, and enclosed in square brackets. And that's what, like, the definition is. Then lists are mutable in nature. Lists are mutable in nature, okay, and which means like it can be changed, okay. So lists are mutable in nature. Then I explained, like, we can use the slicing operator, okay. So we can use slicing operator to extract an item or an element, to extract an element, I would say, element, okay, from list, okay. And the indexing always starts from 0. Okay, so these are like few pointers which are related to a list. That's what we have seen last time as well, right? So just like taking those points again. Okay, cool. So let's try to log into the system. Okay, so after entering the credentials, what you can do is you can open your terminal, expand if you wish, and you can just write Jupyter Notebook. Okay, if you want to practice in Jupyter Notebook, you can type Jupyter Notebook. Else, you can just straight away write Python 3 and that will open in a terminal prompt. That's your call, how you want to make a hands-on. Or else I have already given like the third online compiler also. You can make use of that also. Okay, so let's go to LFS folder and let's go to the my Python practice, and here we'll to create a new Python file. Okay, so let it get created. Okay, so it's up and running, and now we can start making use of things. Okay, cool. So I've just opened my Jupyter notebook, okay, and we have just defined, like, what is the definition of list. So I've just tried to define that. How we can define list in a straight simple manner. So it will be enclosed in square brackets, right? So this is like you can define your empty list. Empty lists are defined like nothing else inside that. So we have already seen, I think, when we were trying to solve some scenarios coding related. So we have seen that, okay. So an empty list can be defined with empty square brackets if there is a requirement, if you want to do that, okay. So my list of two, it can contain elements or items of the same type or of different types. That's what it says, okay, which means that you can have the data of like same similar types, okay. Also you can have the data of different types. So let's say one set, and let's say ram, okay. And also you can have, okay, so let's so it's just like simple things what I'm trying to let's paste this, and let's say print of my list of one. Let's copy this and paste this again, and my list of two. Okay, so it's just an empty list which we have created, and then we have a list which has three elements, the indexing will start from 0, 1 and 2. Okay, that's how the indexing starts. It's mutable in nature, so we can change the values. Okay, also you can have a nested list also, which means that, so let's say I'm having one list. Okay, so let's say that list name is my list 3, and I'm just trying to take the same values as is. So I'll just do quickly Control C and Control V. Okay, and what you can do is, let's say here I am trying to define one more list, and let's say inside this list, let's say I'm trying to enter a few values as 5, 10, 8, and uh, let's say a G. Okay, anything. So it's your call how you define that inside a list. Again, depends on values also. So you can define list inside the list also. So if you quickly just copy this, and if we just try to print off my list of 3, we should get this list as well. Okay, so defining the list can be done through an empty list. Okay, and you will see these scenarios moving ahead where we define empty list. Okay, then you can define the normal list, which will contain the elements of same type. Here the elements are of different types. Okay, also we can have a nested list wherein list can be a part of other list. Okay, so it's like a very straightforward. Okay, then nothing much inside into it. Now, when we want to access the elements of list, okay, or if you want to do some splitting, okay, as I told a little while earlier, the indexing are processed in the same way as it happens with the strings which we have seen last Sunday. Okay, so the elements of the list can be accessed via slicing operator, that is square bracket. We have just seen this, right? And indexing starts from 0. Okay, so if we just quickly, or not even if we don't take MS Paint, okay, so if we just take H, okay, tab E, like how I explained last time. Okay, so the indexing will start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is like your positive indexing will be there. And if you want to access the elements from the backward, okay, so it starts from -1. Okay, so it starts from -1, then you will have -2 over here, then you will have -3 over here, then you will have -4 over here, and finally we will have -5 over here. As I told you, okay, whenever you are trying to iterate on the iterable objects, that iterable objects could be like any data structures, strings, or whatever it could be, so the upper bound is skipped. Okay, so if we have seen that in the range function last time. So if we are trying to define a range of, let's say, 1 comma 10, so the elements would be printed from 1 to 9, so 10 will not be taken into consideration. If you want that, you just need to take +1 value. Either you can define like this or like that. That's your call how you define the code. Okay, cool. So now, as I told you, so the accessing will be with indexing. Okay, if you want to access anything from, let's say, from the 0th element or from the positive indexing, it will start from 0. If you want to start from behind or backwards, it will be starting from -1. Okay, it's a very straightforward, nothing into, I just, it's like not much into this which I need to show you. But again, like, let's try to access few elements. Okay, so let's say this is the list which we have, that is nothing but my list of 3. Okay, so this is the list. So let's say this is the 0th element, this is the first element, and this is the second element. Okay, so I want to access my second element. Simply what I will write, I'll just try to write print of my list of, okay, so that is my list of 3, and I just need to get my second element. So let me quickly copy this, and let me paste this, and let me execute this. Okay, I'm getting this. From this, again, this list, I want to get 0 first. Let's say I want to get this first element. So you just need to write from that to, from that second, I just need to access my first element. Okay, So that's how the deeper means like nested like if you get like data like list inside the list or something related to that, okay, that's how your accessing would be, and you'll have to take care of that. Okay, cool. So as we say that lists are mutable in nature, okay, which means that it can be amended in the sense like I can remove the elements, I can update the elements, okay, all those things are possible. Okay, so how to change or add elements to a list? Lists are mutable in nature means like values can be changed, okay, using the assignment operator. Okay, let's take a value. um okay, let's take a value. So this is odd, okay, and what I am trying to see over here is, let's say there is a value of 2 comma 4 comma 6 comma 8. Okay, so this is like a list, okay, which is having even, but I have named it like I'm just trying to do something. Let's see how we can do that. So what I'm trying to do this in this identifier, which is nothing but a variable, okay, at the 0th element, okay, what I'm trying to assign is as 1. So let me quickly copy this, control C, control V. If I try to print my earlier odd, so you will get my, we will be getting like, we will be getting an even list, and now if I'm trying to append one, so it should start from 1. Okay, so like at the 0th index I have added as a 1. Okay, simply let's say if you, so let's say simply what if we want to do is, so let's say now I have, someone was saying something. Okay, so what I have done is I've just added like 1. So what we will do is, let's say I want to take a range. So odd is my list. Okay, so I want to start from first position, and I want to go up to 4 characters, up to the fourth element, I would say. Okay, and there I have to add some elements, and that element could be like, let's say 3 comma 5 comma 7. Okay, that is what I want to add. And now let's say I'm trying to say print of odd, and let's say this is not required. Let's copy this and let's paste this and let's execute this. Okay, so earlier I started with the even list and I kept on changing, and I made to a odd list. Okay, now playing with the code, again it's in your hands. How much you practice, how much you play with the code, you will get to know those things. Okay, so you can, as it's a mutable in nature, so we can add or replace the elements. Okay, now there are different methods or functions which list supports, okay, which we will see a little while later. But before that, what we'll see is, okay, now we have seen, okay, so let's say there are a couple of methods which I'm able to recall quickly, okay, and they are nothing but mm, append and extend. Okay, sometimes they'll ask you what is the difference between append and extend in list, okay, or in Python. Okay, so we can add one element, sorry, so we can add one element to a list, okay, using your append method. Okay, that is one thing. And let's quickly do control C, control V. So we can add several elements to a list using your extend method. Okay, so that's what a small differentiation between these two methods of a data structure list says us to is. Okay, so what we will try to do is, let's say I'm trying to take a odd list, and I have like, let's say 3 elements, 1 comma 3 comma 5 comma 7, or let's say 4 elements. Okay, now what I am trying to do in this list, okay, so we'll try to add one element, or see, again we were able to replace this. So append in the sense like, when we are trying to do append, it will always go to the last, position. Again, you can take that one of the differentiation. But also what we can do is, if we want to go to a certain index, we can do that also. Okay, so let's see. Let's say odd dot append. Okay, and I'm trying to append let's say 7, and if I just try to print, I should get a list. Okay, that is nothing but 1357. That is what the expectation is, as last, at the last, like the 7 would be amended or appended. That is like adding one element. Okay, but if you want to add multiple elements, so what you can do is, you can just simply use your extend method, and the number of elements what you want to do, so 9, let's say 11, let's say 13, and finally let's say 15. And what we will do is, quickly we'll try to do a print of this. Okay, so extend takes exactly one argument. Okay, my mistake. So it takes one argument, but that should be a list. So let's change this. Control C. And see, as I told you in the first session, so sometimes the error messages would be like appropriate. Sometimes the error messages would be a little weird. Okay, but again, don't worry. As you keep practicing slowly and steadily, you will get to know. Okay, where are you making a miss, and where are the things not flowing correctly. Okay, you will get to know. But eventually, the practice is more efficient, and which you'll have to do a lot. Then only you'll be getting a hang of all these things. Okay. Okay, so let's say now, okay, I'm able to let's say replace an element, or let's say I'm able to add a single element, or I'm able to add multiple elements, and I'm able to change the nested list as well. Okay, so let's say I want to place at one desired location. I have a huge list. Okay, so that is nothing but this list. Let's copy this list, control C, and what we will say is, let's say this is my list. So my list. Okay, so this is a list. Now let's say at a desired location I want to enter some elements. Okay, for that I for that, like, we have a method, and that method is nothing but insert. Okay, now how I know these methods? Okay, so it just like it comes by practice, and you will also get to know all those things. So if you want to know what are the things which are available, so as of now, if you remember last time when we were trying to see the list, sorry, the string methods, okay, we were able to see a lot many, because there were a lot many available with strings manipulation, or strings, yeah, manipulations I could say. But at list, again, like, we have few. So here if you see, we have seen append, clear, extend we have just seen. Okay, so I'm just trying to show you the insert. Okay, let's say I'm not sure of this. Okay, how the syntax behaves, I'm not sure of that. So simply what you can just write is same like last time we have seen this. Okay. Okay. So we'll have to use a method call. Oh, sorry, my mistake. It should have been help, and that should not take a method call. Typo. Okay, so I don't know about insert. So what insert is saying is, okay, this is one of the method descriptor, because it's one of the method from a data structure called list. That is insert as a method we are trying to see. Okay, so insert object before index. Okay, so it takes an element, okay, at the desired location or before that index. Okay, let's demonstrate that. So what we'll try to do is, we will try to insert. So what we will say, let's insert, sorry, the list name is, let's say, my list. Okay, and my list, and we will say dot insert. Okay, and what we will do is, let's say, mm, let's insert, let's say, 0 1 2, let's say at the second location, and let's enter 99. Okay, so let's, and I think we'll have to do just a print of my list. Let's quickly copy and let's quickly paste this. Okay, so as the method says, it inserts the object before index. So whatever the index we had, so we got that. Okay, so at the desired location, if comes a scenario, you can make use of your insert method. Okay, likewise, like there are different methods. Okay, then comes like deleting your elements. Okay, so how to delete or remove elements from a list. Okay, so what we can do is we can use del keyword. So we can delete one or more elements from a list, okay, using the keyword del. Okay, so we have a del keyword, okay, with which we can remove one or more elements from a list. Okay, so if you want to remove let's say from this same list, I already have that in my Jupyter notebook. So what we'll do is quickly I'll just say del of my list. Okay, and you just need to say, sorry, it should have been a square brackets. So I want to delete one item, and let's say that we will take I think we had this 0 1 2. Okay, so we'll take this, and quickly what we will do is we'll do control C and we will do control V. So let's copy this small piece of statement and paste this and execute this. Okay, so we are coming back to the square one. Okay, so what I did is I just deleted the element at the second index and it removed that. Okay, if you want to delete multiple indexes, multiple elements on an items from an iterable list, okay, what you can do is you can give a range. Okay, a desired range you can give, and again it will give you some certain result. Okay, so whatever the result could be, it will give you that result. So deleting a single item and deleting multiple elements based on the range, you will be able to perform that. Okay. Then, okay, a little while earlier, so we have a remove method and we have a pop method. Okay. Let's understand the remove and pop method. Now, when it comes to remove and pop, okay, so we can use remove method. Sorry, let's write that. We can use remove method, okay, to remove the given item. Okay, and does it take? Let me quickly see. So let's see quickly help of list inside that. Let's say remove. Okay, I'm just considering whether it's like a so it removes your first occurrence of a value and pop removes the last element. Okay, so I was just like not getting that. So we can use the remove element. Okay, so it's like just like simply let's write that. Okay, so it removes your first element from a given list or from given a value. Okay, and it raises a value. Okay, if the value is not available. Okay, this could be again like one of the differences available and one of the like interview question also. Okay, but again like depends like how the interview is going. Okay, so let's take this list which we sorry let's take this list which we are using and which is already ready. Let's make this list. Okay, and what we'll try to do is we'll try to delete certain elements from this and let's see how it goes. Okay, so what it says is it remove first occurrences. For that, what we will have to do is we'll have to just manipulate this a little. So let's say I'm trying to make it 1 and let's say I'm trying to make it 5. Okay, that's sufficient for me, right? So what quickly I'll try to do is I'll try to say my list of remove. Okay, and in this let's say I'm trying to say 1 and let's say print of my list. Let's do quickly copy and let's do quickly paste. Okay, so if you see, as it has removed the first occurrence of that. Okay, so that is like how it behaves. And again, like if you want to remove multiple elements, okay, so you can go for the del keyword. Okay, remove, it's like for the first occurrences. Again, like with the indexing method also, you can remove the first element by the index search. Okay, again, like how you play the code, how you write the code, it will always be in that terms. Let's understand the pop, what I said. So pop method is to remove an item at a given index. Okay. And by default, it removes the last. So let's test those couple of approaches or couple of functionalities which pops provides to us. Okay. So pop method, okay, pop method removes and returns last item of an element from an element, okay, or from a value or from an element, okay, whatever you wish to say. And it also removes method from a value, okay, at a given index. Okay, still if you're unsure of this, so quickly what you can do is you can just take help. Okay, that's what, if you get stuck anywhere, so you should be able to play with the help. Okay, so let's say pop and let's execute this quickly. So it removes and returns an item at index, that's what it says. So defaulted is to last if you do not specify your index. Okay, so raise index error if list is empty or index is out of range. So we just needed to test this, so let's me copy this quickly. Okay, and let's say I want to remove, let's say 99. Okay, and let's execute this. So it is telling that x is not in list, so it's just a simple error. And let's understand, is it giving this -1? The pop is giving -1 out. So what we will do is, let's say I am saying pop, okay, and what we will do is, first we will not give the index. Okay, and let's copy this, Control C and Control V. Okay, and let's execute this. So by default, it is removing the last element. That's what it says. And if you want to specify a certain index, mm, let's say the second index, which is repeated at, so I don't want it that one over here, which is repeated. Again, the 5 is repeated here itself. So again, like how you play with this. Okay. I can recall one of the scenario, like there was one interview, means like not one interview. I was giving an interview with Wipro. Okay. So there they have asked me this question. And I think Jagan has shared his experience of, like we'll take like Jagan scenarios tomorrow. Okay, so let's say there was like what he has told to me. Okay, so remove multiple elements using for and while loop. This is what the scenario he gave to me. Okay, and he gave me a list. Let's say I am trying to take a list, and that list is let's say anything. So let's say 5 comma 1 comma 9. Let's say there is like one more nested list inside that. Let's say inside that it had, let's say 4. Let's insert some say, and let's say Ankit. Okay, and let's say one take numeric value as 9, and again like let's take few numeric values. Let's say 99 comma 11, something like this. Okay, now, but I do not have duplicates, right? So what we will do is quickly we'll push some duplicates, 5 5 5, and let's give some 5 here itself. Okay, cool. So this is a list. Let's say this is a list given to you. Okay, and now what I want to do is remove multiple elements. Now I can see in this, I have just to test whether the list, so I've just taken only one element is which is iterating again and again. Okay, so you have the IDs and you have any suggestion for me? How can I achieve this? How can I achieve this using a for loop? And how can I achieve this using a while loop? So we have seen for loops and while loops, right? Any suggestions?
Oh, we can use it in for loop.
How we can use the for loop?
Oh yeah, in A is the list, then we can use the for I in uh, range of A, Yeah. Then we can check if I equal if I equal to yeah, if I equal to
I guess we need two variables.
hmm,
Let me finish with him. And meanwhile, like if you have your systems up and running, like or else like an ID which is up and sorry, the third party editor, we can quickly try over that. Meanwhile, I'll just take one suggestion. Yeah, Rakesh, go ahead, please.
yeah, if I equal to um,
Yeah, someone was saying like we need to take two variables. Yes, please. Hello. Yes, no. If you're not speaking, please be on mute so that the session does not have the environment voices. Okay. Yeah. Any suggestions for me? See, until unless you won't say things, I'll not come to know like how my audience is going. Okay. So again, I do understand we are at a very early stage to understand all these things, but again, like so as we have seen, I've given the assignment. Start doing the assignments. Until unless you don't do the assignments, you will not get a proper grip of hands-on. Okay, and that is very much required for a data engineer. It's not a theoretical interview you'll have to clear. And again, like you'll just go through the theoretical interview, remove some 100 plus questions from Google, try to give 6 to 8 interviews, and you'll clear one interview. But going inside, you'll have to work also, right? So again, please start
Yeah.
practicing. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Dheeraj here.
Yes, Neeraj.
Uh,
Nitin.
for
Neeraj.
I in a range length of A,
For I
length
in
A.
range and len of A.
Yeah.
Yes, Dheeraj.
Yeah.
If
I double equal to 5,
I equals to 5,
A dot remove
A dot remove
I.
of I. Right.
Right.
Then I'll just simply do a. I'll simply do a
You can simply print out that A.
A or I. So let's define this list. Okay. Let's execute this. Okay, so we didn't get any errors. Let's copy this, the code suggested by Dheeraj. Let's paste this and let's execute this. Okay, and what we will do for every iteration it is coming. So let's take it. I don't want for every iteration. Let's copy this piece of code and let's paste this over here and let's execute this. Okay, so Dheeraj, if you see, we are having 5 over here and we are having 5 here also. And also what we will do is inside this list also, okay, let's not go to that critical, but again, like this is still what I will say is simply I would say if 5 in uh, let's say for in spite of iterating through a range, I will say for I in A. Okay, then ठीक है, मेरा उस पर iterate होगा, फिर मैं क्या करूँगा, if लगाऊंगा और मैं क्या बोलूँगा इसको, I'll just say if 5 if 5 अगर मैं उसको ओके if 5 इन ए करूंगा, अगर उसमें एक भी आता है तो मैं इसका क्या बोलूंगा, a dot remove and let's execute this piece. Small changes here and there, Dheeraj, I made. Okay, and let's execute this piece. Okay, cool. So but sorry, my mistake. So just like the element, I should have taken, let's say, control C and let's say control V. Okay, and let's execute this now. एक बार इसको डिफाइन करते हैं, कंट्रोल सी, because it's like amendable, so let's execute. ठीक है, and now let's try to validate this. 5 चला गया, ठीक है. So if you see now, we had like multiple of 5 elements and we have removed that. This looks good, so it is working fine as expected. Okay, so for loop it is working for us. Okay, now let's try to execute the same piece of code using while loop. Any suggestions again?
But sir, we have to keep one instance of
I did not said that,
right?
like it just said remove multiple elements. It did not said like if you need to keep one. So again, if you need to keep one, so you will have to keep, means like preserve one, and then you'll have to write a small, you'll have just have to make small modification. That removing the duplicates. Remember last Saturday or Sunday, if we have seen that.
Yeah.
Are we able to recall that? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah. So last Sunday, if you remember, like we have seen how to remove duplicates scenario. Someone said like we need to reverse it, and so in that, like we had.
Yeah, we have to create an empty list and
Right. So again,
give.
like yeah. So put it into, so iterate with every element, okay, on every element, and just say if 5 not in A, okay, then append. If it is available, don't append. Simple, right? Uh, I just missed your name.
Sandeep.
Huh?
Sandeep.
Sandeep. Try to speak a little louder. So okay. Okay. Thanks, Sandeep. Okay. So any questions in this? So let's figure out how we can do with a while loop. Any suggestions? How we can twist the code for this? See, why I am asking is because everyone has their own creative mind. Everyone has the logic skill writing. Okay, so everyone's answer will vary for the same problem statement. So I just wanted to see like your approach. Okay, no issues. So what I will do is, let's go with my approach. Okay, and this is not the only approach. Okay, I have already told in the first session of the Hadoop. Okay, I have my own approach. You will be having your own approach. Like Dheeraj was saying, Rakesh was saying, Sandeep was saying. Okay, everyone has their thinking ability. So 5 fingers are not the same. Okay, so for a same problem statement, we can have multiple approaches. So this is the approach which is coming to my mind. Okay, so that's what I'm writing. You may have your approaches or a different approach to that. Nothing issue, no issues in that. Okay, so. mm while loop, right? So I'm trying to give I equals to 0. ठीक है, फिर मैं, sorry, what I'll do is I'll try to take this len of a. Okay, let's take that len of a. So let's write a while loop. Okay, so while I is less than len of a. 1 2 3 4. So len will be like 0, whatever the number could be. Okay, then same thing, that is if my 5 is equal to a of I. ठीक है, a of I में अगर 5 आया, 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, ठीक है. So simply what I'll try to do is I'll remove that. Okay, that is the first thing. ठीक है, यानी कि लेट्स से यहाँ पर आ गया, इसको मैंने रिमूव किया. अब मेरे को क्या करना है, ये इंडेक्स को यहाँ पे लेके जाने का है. So what I will do is I equals to, so 0 0 0 minus 1 ठीक है, 0 आया, ठीक है. So what I will do is I'll try to take I minus 1, and here what I will try to do is I'll try to increment this I plus 1, and finally I'll try to do print a, hopefully. So what I am trying to see, for loop, what it does is it automatically just iterates element by element. Okay, so that functionality I'm trying to handle over here. Let me see if the code is working or not. Then we will try to test. So before that, what we will do is, as the list is like, so let me copy this list, and we will copy this piece of code over here. Control C and Control V. Okay, and let's execute this. Okay, so 194, this is the element, and 99 set. Looks good. It is working. Masta. Okay, so if you see, the code is working. So what I have done is, okay, I have defined 0, I equals to 0, which is the condition. Okay, initial condition is true. So I'm trying to go inside the loop, okay, while I is less than len of a. We know what len of a will give, right? So len of a will give me the elements which are available. Let's take the elements are, let's say, 9. Then what I'm trying to write, if condition, so if 5 equals to a of I. Okay, so here for the first time it will be coming 0, right? On the 0th element I have 5, right? So it will remove, oh sorry, here a of I will be nothing but my 5, right? So 5 is equals to 5, that condition is true. It will get removed, right? Now if this is getting removed, okay, so here what I'm trying to do, because see, once this gets removed, Control C, okay, after this is getting removed for the first time, or the first element, the list will look like this, right? At this position, okay, at this position, the list is something like this, right? Now I need to come over here. So for that, what I'm trying to write, I equals to I minus 1. So what is I? I is nothing but 0, right? 0 minus 1 will be minus 1. So यहाँ पे क्या store, sorry, what will be stored over here? Minus 1, right? So let me just cut this so that I can write the proper significance over here. So let's say this is the list which is available over here, and let's say for the first time, let's say 5 is coming over here. Here for the first iteration it is becoming minus 1, right? So minus 1 plus 1, what it will become? It will become 0, right? 0, which means again it will go to this list because there is a while loop, right? So again it will go to this. So here, okay, so I is less than or len of a, yes, because the while loop is meeting the condition. Now it will say 5 a of I. Okay, so we are at the 0th element. Okay, so a of I is nothing but 1. Is 5 equals to 1? No, right? So it will go over here and it will increment this. It will not go to this if condition because that is not meeting it, right? So 1 plus 0 plus 1, it will become 1. So 1 is less than len of I, yes. So here it will be a of 1. So a of 1 is nothing but 9. Is this condition meeting to true? No. Okay, so it will jump. So it will be 1 plus 1, 2. It will go over here. It is meeting? Yes. 2 minus 1 will be 1. So because if after this 9 will be removed, so this 5 will shift over here, right? And that's how the logic will go. Okay. Any questions in this small for loop and while loop? Yes, no? Are we able to
No,
understand?
it looks good, sir.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, no issues. So if we have seen like the different types of operators which we have seen, so you make use of those operators here also. Okay.
Sir?
Hmm?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rakesh, go ahead.
Yeah, sir, that list is containing 51955 something, okay? So suppose I want to add one more 9 is there. One more 9.
You want to add
Command, हाँ हाँ
hmm
yeah 5 के बाद 9
after which
at
5?
Next 5. Yeah. Any 5.
Okay, so let's control C. Let's do control V. Yeah.
Yeah. You can, after 11, comma,
Okay.
9.
After 11 comma 9. Yeah.
Comma 9. Yeah. So in that case, we need to be, if 5 equal to A of I and 9 equal to A of I, we can do that or what? Like that, this logic?
Nahi. So your question is you want to add 9, right?
No, no, not add. So same questions I have here. 3 5 is there, 2 9 is there.
Okay. Okay. Multiple elements you want to remove.
Yeah. Multiple elements I want to
Right.
remove.
So here you'll have to switch the condition.
Yeah.
So the condition like if 5 equals to A I return, so you
A.
cannot means you'll have to test multiple conditions, right?
Acha. Uh-huh.
It will not means like you'll have to write 5 in the list. You'll have to write or else like you'll have to write if and elif.
Okay. Yeah.
You can follow that approach.
Yeah. I got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, sir. Ravi this side.
Yeah.
So, sir, I have pinged the code, so it is working fine with a different approach. But whenever there is a consecutive 5, so it is not eliminating that. So, can you say it, sir, in the chat window? So, I have used continue so that the iteration doesn't break and it shifts back the iteration to the for loop.
For element in A. Okay. So element equals to 5. Okay. Then A dot remove. Okay. So you are removing it and you are continuing it.
So this is giving correct answer, but after 5, if you add one more 5, consecutive 5, so it is not eliminating that.
Here.
Yeah. Here or before the nested list, you can add one for us.
Here.
Yes. Comma. So I think we used
Sorry.
one comma. So here you can see 1 5. That 5 is not eliminated. So
Hmm. So what we are trying to traverse on this iterable object, if this is equals to 5 A dot remove. So this is getting removed. This is getting removed, and why it is getting stuck at third.
So it is getting stuck at wherever there is a consecutive 5, it is able to remove one 5, but the other 5 is not able to remove. So
Hmm. So continue. So it keeps on continuing. So again, like yeah. But again, like if you see, we are not sure like is it like really like going by element. Okay, so this 5 is removed. Consecutives are removed, but
in
it
consecutives, only one is
right.
getting removed.
So continue. कंटिन्यू कर रहा है ये. What it is telling, it is used to skip the rest of the code. So break नहीं चाहिए हमको. The continuous is to skip the rest of the code inside a loop for the current iteration only. Loop does not terminate but continue with the next iteration. Okay, so condition is okay. I got it. So but again, like even if like it is going for this, so this is like, then again it is starting, so this is, it is skipped, so again it is starting this. So what it is trying to say is, it is to means like it is using only like कहाँ पे गया? हाँ. So it is used to skip the rest of the code inside a loop for the current iteration only. So for the first iteration, it is able to identify this. So that's why it is able to remove the multiple elements. फिर बाद में वो वापस आ रहा है. Then again like it is going. So it, but still this is not continue. It is skipping that. Let's remove this and how the code is working. ठीक है. So see, for the problem is this is getting removed, but again like your indexing is element, it's 5. So simply to see step by step how it is going. So if you see, the first 5 is removed over here, okay, then the second 5 is removed. So if element equals to 5, element is nothing but that. So here we have this, right? So 1 is kept, 1 is kept. So from here it's only removing 1, because that element is not incrementing or it's not going. So that's what we are instructing in this over here. So the difference between the code is like, here I'm trying to make some changes. See, it is trying to, when we are trying to traverse with this for loop, it is just trying to test like what Sandeep asked. If you remember the Sandeep's question, like, okay, so for the current loop iteration, it is just keeping 1. But when it is coming to understanding like the line of code, so this is like where I'm trying to make small changes. I'm trying to shift that curve from the current element to the next element. That's why it is not able to remove your element which is available over there. Okay. Any questions apart from that? Okay. So let's take methods. I think I have already shown the append method. Okay. Then clear method I have not shown. Okay, so the clear method is to just remove the elements from a list, so it will be just like an empty list. Okay, so clear method, what it does is it removes all the elements from the list. It removes it clears the list completely and returns nothing. Okay, so what we can do is simply like let's try to take this. Let's take this list and we will say like a dot clear, and we will try to do print of a. Okay, so it is just like a truncate or like delete all from your different databases where you're coming from. Okay, then sometimes like they'll ask you like what is the difference between a deep copy and a shallow copy. Again, we'll come to that. So before that, we have a copy keyword. Okay, so copy method, what it does is, okay, it copies the list from one element to the other element. Think it entirely copies that. So we have one copy method. So let's say we'll try to define one list. Let's say that list is nothing but, let's say, 2 comma 4 comma 6 comma 8. Okay, and let's say copy list, I would say. So this is nothing but my empty list. Okay, and I'm trying to do a copy in that. So let's say result equals to, let's say, a dot copy list, a dot copy. Okay, and finally what we will do is we will try to print the result. Control C, Control V, and quickly execute this. Okay. I'm not sure whether it copies an element by element. So directory of list of copy. In spite of that, let's say I'll see an help of that. Okay, so returns a shallow copy. So I'll come to that shallow copy and deep copy. So I think it copies the entire list element only. Okay. So similarly, we have like count. Okay, so let's say result dot count method. So it tries to count the element. Okay, so it takes exactly one argument, and I have not given any argument. So let's say I'm trying to give 6. Okay, so it is giving me the count as 1. If it would have been multiple elements, it would have given the multiple elements. We have seen the extend method. Okay, we have seen the clear method. Sorry, clear is already done. So we have seen the insert method. Okay, then we have just seen count method. Then we have seen like pop and remove also. Pop and remove method. Okay, so these are like few things which we will be taking. And if you remember, like last Sunday we have seen like reverse. Okay, so it will be similar to that. And we have seen like how to switch the elements from if means like how to reverse the elements with a multiple approaches suggested by you. Okay, so we have seen that. Then we have sort method. So the name itself suggests like it's a straightforward. So dir of list. Let's see what are the things which are available. Reverse, list, sort, extend. I think like most of the thing which we have taken care. Okay. So what we will do is quickly we'll take a break of let's say 10 minutes or 5 minutes and we'll meet. Let me pause the recording. Okay, so we'll try to understand a different data structure. Okay, other than list. So we'll try to understand tuple. So in tuple also will be like again like once we understand one data structure, so playing with the things it will be almost similar. So the only thing is the features would be different. Okay. So if we talk about tuple, okay, so let's see. So tuple is similar to list. Okay. So since the values of the I, so tuple, uh, yeah. So tuple is used to store the sequence of is to store the elements. Okay, which are immutable in nature. Immutable in nature. Okay, so it's not mutable. So once the elements are created in a tuple, they cannot be altered or amended. Okay, that is what we need to understand. Then the second pointer, what we can say is in the tuple is the elements are separated by comma. Okay, and enclosed in parentheses. Okay, and tuples are write protected as the immutability says is sorry immutable. So tuples are write protected. Okay, and are generally faster than list. As why? So as they cannot be altered during runtime or dynamically. Okay, that's what the few pointers about tuple says is again. So if you are trying to create a tuple, playing with tuple and playing with list and playing with string, almost would be similar. Okay, so the same thing like how the indexing I showed over here will be applicable over here also. So the same indexing will be applicable. Okay, so indexing will start from 0, but again, like as they are immutable, so we'll not be able to access this. But if you I'll show you like how we can make like inside, like we can define a list and that can be accessed and that can be changed. So we'll try to see few things over here. So let's say how you need to create an empty tuple. So let's say I'm trying to create a my tuple. If you remember a little while earlier, we were trying to create a square brackets and empty list. So if you want to create a tuple, okay, you will have to open square brackets. Okay, so that's how you'll have to define your tuple. Okay, so let's say this is your my tuple 1, and let's say my tuple of 2. Okay, now your tuple can have same elements and elements of different types also. So let's say 7, 9, 4, 5, 8, or let's say any element. It can have the different types also. That's what it says. Okay, and it can contain a nested list. It can contain a nested tuple also. So let's say my tuple of 3 equals to, so we will quickly just do copy paste. Okay, and let's say inside this, so let's say I'm trying to create a list which has, let's say, 4, 55, 1. Okay, let's say inside that it has one more tuple, let's say 8, 5, 4, and let's say few values 9 comma 0. Okay, so if we try to do a print of all this, so let's say my tuple of 1, let's do quick copy paste of 2 and 3. Okay, so let's paste this and let's execute this. So my tuple 2 is not defined. Print, there's a typo error. So let's copy this and paste this again. Okay, so let's execute this piece. Okay, it's an empty tuple. Okay, so you can just write print of type of my tuple of my tuple of 1. You'll get to know the type of that. Okay, so it's a class of tuple, so it's an empty tuple. Okay, it's of same elements or different elements. It can have inside that, you can have a list or a tuple as an element also. Okay, so again, so indexing, as I told you, like you can play with the indexing. I'll not go again into those things because I've already explained. So indexing like starts from 0, 1, all those things you can play. Negative indexing will start from -1. Okay, so this is the same approach will be followed over here. So let's quickly do a copy and let's quickly do a paste over here. Same approach. The slicing operator will also be same. So let's say if you want to access, let's say my tuple of 3. Okay, so let's say my tuple is 3. Okay, and if you want to access multiple elements from this, so again like 0, 1, 2, 3. So let's say 3 comma 4. So let's say 3 to 5. Okay, and we'll say just print of, just write print on top of that. Let's quickly do a copy and let's do a paste. Okay, so we are just getting two elements. Okay, as the higher bound is skipped. Okay, so indexing, all everything will remain the same way how we have seen for the list or strings. There will be no differences. Okay, so the only this is, as this is like immutable, so it cannot be changed. So if you try to change values, okay, it will try to give the assignment error. Okay, that's what you will be able to get. So let's say my tuple of 3. Okay, so my tuple 3. Okay, and let's say I'm trying to change, which is nothing but 0, 1, 2, 3, 4th. Okay, so that is nothing but at the 4th place, which is the 4th index. And let's say here I'm trying to keep a value of Rakesh. Okay, so I'm just trying to copy this and let's say I'm trying to paste this. Okay, so it should complain that object assignment is not possible. Okay, so that is where you'll not be able to do that. Okay, then deleting the tuple. Okay, so deleting the entire tuple. So we cannot change the elements in a tuple. It means that like delete or remove items is not available, but Okay, replacing or deleting the entire tuple is possible. Okay, so simply if I just write del of my tuple 3, okay, so it will completely remove this tuple. That is possible. Okay, you can do that, okay, if you want to do. And again, if you'll try to print this, it will tell you that this is not defined. Okay, so it will give you that error. So let's quickly copy and quickly paste this. So hopefully that should give us a small error. Okay, so there are some advantages over tuple. So the main advantage is like mostly like when we try to opt for a tuple is we don't want to change the values during the code execution. Okay, at that moment of time we think of creating a tuple. Okay, and that's where the right protected area comes into picture, that is immutability in nature. As like moving ahead, once we start with PySpark, okay, you'll understand, I will come to know or will learn or will see how the data frames are immutable nature, because again it has like various pros and cons. So that's what we will understand. So that's where like my tuple will always like faster to a list. Okay, so nothing much to show in tuple, because we have already seen like, and again like what are the methods which are available. So again you can just go to this, execute this, and I think if you see only uh, couple of uh, couple of methods are supported. Okay, if there is a requirement, what you can do is you can convert your couple to a list or a string and then apply your transformation and manipulations. Okay, and then come back to your tuple or a list. That's how we do in like projects. Okay, so if there are requirements like to move, or like what is typecasting, switching from one data type to another when during the execution, let's say if something is failing, or I want, mostly like if you will see the famous scenarios of date times. Okay, if the date is coming in different format, we need to typecast it to let's say if it is coming as a timestamp, so we convert it to date. Okay, again we have like strip str p time, str f time, we'll see moving ahead. So in a similar fashion, if you have a tuple, okay, and let's say there is a requirement to you apply some transformations on top of your tuple, okay, and those methods are not available with your tuple, what you can do is you can convert that tuple to a list or a string. Okay, then there are so many methods which are available like in your string or a tuple. That's what we have seen. Str. Okay, so that's what we have seen. Okay, so apply those transformations, convert back to a list or a tuple, and then you can move ahead. Okay, so that's like will be a lot you'll have to do. Okay, depending on the scenario to scenario. Okay, so not much to explain in tuple. So indexing, slicing, everything will be remaining the same, nothing changing much. Okay, then we have a data structure called set. Okay, now, set, again, like, see, set, when it comes to set and tuple, I have like not much used in my projects. Majority, like, we use like list and dictionary. Okay, but it's not that if we are not using in the project, it's not used. I'm not saying like that, because it depends from scenario to scenario and case to case. In my case, like we are like using much of list and dictionary, but not much of set. But again, if scenario comes, yes, we have to use it. So again, like, so if in like your requirement the scenarios are coming, you can or you may use these. Okay, but most of the time what happens is when we are trying to write PySpark code, okay, most of the things are provided by Spark itself. So it becomes a very little, or means for just for some little time we come to Python. Okay, if things like we need to take it. So in a similar fashion, what is a set? We have already seen. Okay, it's an unordered collection. Yeah, someone wants to ask some question.
Yeah, so Dheeraj here.
Yes, Dheeraj.
So as tuples are immutable, but if elements are mutable, then we can modify them, right?
Yes, yes.
Like
This
you have given
elements,
list
yeah,
inside the
yeah.
tuple. Yeah,
This is modifiable, but this is not modifiable, right, Dheeraj?
yeah, right.
Because this is a list which is a mutable, and this is a tuple which is immutable. Yes, you can alter it. The same, see. So basic functionalities of a list will apply on this.
Yeah, thank you.
ठीक है? Okay, so set is nothing but unordered collection of items or elements. Okay, again separated by comma. Okay, and enclosed in curly braces. Okay, so that is what it says. So there are like set operations which we all know. Okay, set operations like union or intersection. Okay, we can perform these kind of operations on sets. Okay, sets are immutable in nature. Okay, sets are immutable in nature. So this is what I'm able to recall about set. Okay, how you'll define a set. So my set equals to, okay, so in curly braces, so let's say anything like, let's say 1 comma 2 comma 3. Okay, so we are defining a set in a plain simple thing. It can have, like as we have seen a little while earlier, your tuple can contain like a nested element that could be a tuple or a list or a dictionary or a set. In a similar fashion, my set also can have those things. Okay, so let's say I'm having, let's say, my set of 2. Okay, so let's say this is my set of 1. So here also, like let's say I'm trying to have, let's say 4 comma 1 comma 5. Let's say I'm having one list which is having a value comma 5, which is having some value, let's say 9 comma 5 comma 4, and again it is having, let's say, 5. So it can contain like the data of different types also. It's not that it needs to be a consistent type. That's what you'll have to understand. Okay, uh, let's print off my set of 1. Let's quickly do a copy and paste of 2, and let's change this to 1, and let's execute this small piece. Okay, so unhashable type. Okay, so list is not inside of that because it's telling me unhashable. I cannot take a list inside a set. Let's run this. Okay, so the so we cannot take a list inside a set. That's what it was telling a earlier error. So that what you can do is, but I think we, okay, set cannot have mutable elements, right? So that is one. So set cannot have mutable elements. Okay, so that is one important point which you'll have to remember. Okay, so sets are immutable in nature. So that is the thing. Okay, so as the properties, you all know the properties of set. Okay, so it removes the duplicates and it gives the elements. So even if we try to enter, like let's copy this and let's paste this, and let's try to enter some duplicate values in this set, which we have already seen last time as well. I am not able to recall vividly. So let's say there are few elements which are repeated, and if we'll try to,
Uh, Sir, one thing,
yeah, Sandeep.
I think in tuple also we cannot take a list because same properties applies there as well because tuple is immutable and list is mutable.
I think we took
Both are.
earlier, right? In tuple, we took an list, right?
Yes, so here, I think here also we cannot take a list because tuple is immutable.
Yeah,
I think
tuples are
so.
immutable, but it was allowing us, right? We have seen this, right? It was not throwing a hashable error or something to us. It was taking a list, right? So in set, it is not allowing.
Mm,
That's what,
okay.
like here, if you see. So let's say if we convert this to a list, it was giving us a hashable error. It cannot have a mutable list. That's what it was telling us. Okay,
But I think we cannot change the item in that list.
where did I change the item?
No, no. So in tuple, we taken as a list. It is not going.
First of all, I would expect to use to speak a little high because your voice is a very low, Sandeep.
Okay, I'm come closer. Yeah, it's better now.
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, you said that a list is allowable in the tuple, and but I think it is not. We cannot change the value of list in that thing if it is inside a tuple. I think.
What do you mean? Like, can like means like you
So
cannot change these values?
what I am saying is that 455 1, I cannot change that value if it is inside the tuple.
Okay, I got your point, Sandeep. So let's my tuple of three.
Multiple 3. It's multiple 3.
Yeah. So if you see, we have modified this.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's make a little move ahead. Okay, now creating an empty set is so where were we? Okay, so here if you see, I have not shown like how to create an empty set. Okay, so creating a empty set is a little like we'll be making some turnaround when we want to create empty sets. Okay, so empty curly braces. So if I just say my empty set equals to, let's say I'm trying to say curly braces. So and if I just try to say print of type of my empty set, and if I close this and if I copy this and if I paste this and if I run this, okay, it is giving me a type of dictionary. Okay, so when you try to because when we are trying to define with an empty braces, okay, it is giving us the default which to a dictionary. So here what you'll have to say is you'll have to say set of empty. I think so, that's what I am able to recall. Let's paste this because I have not much used set in my. Okay, so I just need to change this to method call. Let's execute this now. Yeah, looks good. So you just need to make like you just need to say set. Okay, if you want to create an empty set. Okay, if any requirement comes, like if you want to make a set and like try to hover over it, you can do all those things over here. Okay, so that is one thing. Okay, then as we have seen, like in set, like I don't have much to show in tuple and sets. Okay, so there is not much available in like what are the methods which are and I think like we can be able to so say dir of, let's say, set. Let's see what are the methods. Yeah, lot of methods which are available. Okay, so in like a tuple I had only couple of them. Okay, so here you have lot many. Okay, so add, as the name itself suggests, it will add the element, clear the element, copy difference. Okay, so we'll try to take few I'll try to pick few methods from this. Okay, and I'll try to explain. Again, you can explore the different methods available in each data structure. Okay, so I'll not go into much. Okay, so just remove this and let's understand few things. Okay, so we know like union. Okay, see, I'm just trying to take few things which are really or may be useful with set. Otherwise, like mostly are available with my string and list data structure. So I know means at very less time we do go to these data structures. Okay. So union is nothing but addition of two identifiers or addition of two variables of all elements. Okay. So it's like addition of or like or means like gathering what I'd say. It's like addition of all elements. Okay, from both identifiers or from both variables, I could say. Okay, so what we can do is, let's say I'm trying to define a, and in this a, let's say I'm just trying to take few values, and those few values could be, let's say 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. Okay, and I'm trying to define b, and let's say I'm trying to say 6 comma 7 comma 8 comma 9, and let's enter one duplicate. Okay, so if we just try to take, or if we just try to do a of union of b, and yeah, that should be sufficient for my code. So the same functionality like how we have in your in any of your databases. So I'm coming from the Oracle background, so like how the set concept behaves over there. So almost the same concepts will be applied over here. Okay, so it's like a union of two elements, or sorry, of two identifiers which are holding the different elements. Okay, and if you see, as like it removes the duplicates are removed. Okay, similarly we'll have like intersection. Okay, so in intersection we all know. Okay, so intersection of a and b is a set of elements which says like the common elements in both, I would say simply, let's say common elements in both. Okay, and if I just try to say a of intersection of b, okay, I should get my the common intersection, which is nothing but my 5. Okay, so similarly, if you see a little while earlier, we had difference. Okay, so let's understand what difference is. Help of set of difference. Okay, so difference returns the difference of two, so it's something related to like minus. Okay, so let's understand difference. Okay, let's see a minus b what it is giving. So what we will do is we'll try to shorten it. So let's say we'll try to make a c set. In that we will try to say 1 comma 2 comma 3, and let's see what does a minus a difference of c gives. A difference of c. So if it is a minus b, oh sorry, a minus c, so we should get 4 5. Yeah, so similar to your a minus b. Okay, so this is like a difference which is behaving. Okay, so let's do vice versa of that. So that is nothing but c dot c dot difference of a. Okay, we are getting an empty list, empty set, because all the elements which are available in c is available in a, right? Okay, so that is one thing. Then if we scroll little up, again there are lot many elements in this. Okay, so discard, intersection is subset of pop and remove. Again, we know what is pop and remove, we have seen union. Okay, so there are many things which are available. Okay, so you can just play with all these methods. Okay, try to make use of this wherever you can make use of, like, again, just what my plan or what I'm trying to say over here is explore as much as you can. Okay, it will become
Is
huh.
Shape, this is Deepak. Just want like is arithmetic operation or like are those are allowed to this any tuple or set or
So in list and string, I'm pretty sure in tuple also, like the arithmetic operators are allowed. So set, I am unsure like operators are allowed or not, we'll have to test that. But list and Deepak, so in list and strings and what you say, tuples, I'm pretty sure like these are available. The different operators like repetition or the floor division or the concatenation or like division multiplication, whatever you want to do, or the comparison or the logical should be available.
Yeah, like addition,
Yes,
subtraction.
yes, yes, definitely,
Okay.
definitely,
Okay.
definitely.
I'll check. I'll check from my side.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Thank you.
pakka. Okay. Then see again like the see we have like sorted the ascending order descend again, like sort method will be a little important because most of the time when we'll go to PySpark, okay, so ascending descending order of playing. So do we have something sorted over here? ABS, I do not see anything sorted. Okay, so what we will do is we'll play with different data structure to see the sorted. Okay, how does sort does? Okay, so if you remember, like last Saturday or Sunday when we were trying to solve one Python program, okay, that coding problem for interviews. At that moment of time, I have used sort and sorted method. Okay, so there are two methods. Okay, sort and sorted. Okay, so which will be available. So sorted function, what it does is, okay, so sorted, so the sorted function what it does is, okay, it sorts the elements of given iterable iterable, okay, in a specific order, okay, which could be your ascending or descending, okay. And what it will do is, and it will return and it will return sorted, it will return your sorted iterable as a list. Okay, let's test this. How the syntax goes is, okay, so let's write the code itself. let's say i'm trying to let's say I'm trying to define a list. Okay, so in this list, let's say I'm trying to define some elements. Okay, so let's go for some. Here I'll just write quickly because your indentation will be a little quicker for me. So what I'll try to do is, let's say I'm trying to define, let's say E, then let me come out, let's say A, let me come over here, let's say O, let me come over here, let's say I, A, E, I, and the final is nothing but my U. Okay, so I've defined a list of vowels. Okay, so if I'm just trying to say print of sorted of my, so it's like it's a key, so I will not take that. So let's say I'm taking this as my list. So let's copy this and let's paste this and let's execute this small piece. Okay, so this is how the key is sorted. Okay, so by default it is like your ascending. Okay, if you want to make it like a descending, I think you need to give that reverse equals to false. Yeah, it is getting highlighted. Let's execute this piece. Okay, so by default is true. Yeah, now it is getting worked. Okay, so by default it's ascending. Okay, so if you want to make it like in a descending sorting, okay, so you can use the reverse keyword with your true method, true. Okay, true boolean value. Okay, that's how your sorted function will behave. Okay, and it's giving us a list. That is one thing. Okay, and the other is like which is, if you remember, like we have seen like a sort method. Okay, so this is again like playing with the same thing. So what we can do is we can just say control C, control V, and I will just say my list of dot sort. Okay, and I'll just, first of all, let me cut this and just say print of my list. Okay, print of my list, and then I will try to say, you'll get to know the difference. अरे यार, ये की print कर रहा है. So let's execute this piece. Okay, so this is like how it is getting printed. Okay, and what I want to do is I'll just copy this piece of code. Okay, and I'll come over here and let's re-execute this piece. So there's just a small, and I'll have to print my list as well. Okay, so sorting can be done with either with a sort method or a sorted function. Okay, the only difference is we need to understand between this and this. Okay, so it replaces your, means like, it replaces your elements inside that. If you see, again here also they are getting this, but which word I can use, like means like during the execution, like it replace your internal values. I'm not able to find out the exact word. Mm, let's say, see what I'm trying to say. See, again, like sorting is happening in both the places. That is no restrictions. Okay. So the thing is, the sort which I am trying to apply in this. Okay. So if you see this highlighted one, okay, here what it happens is in this list only, like I'm trying to apply. Now, if I just try to say sorted, okay, hopefully it should give me a none, or the list it's not sorted. Okay. So let's say if I just if I just apply, sorry, let me try to type a print on top of this. Okay, so if you see, this list object has no attribute sorted. Again, what it is telling is, so inside this list sorted method is not available. Okay, so there will be some scenarios, okay, where you will not be able to use this, but you will be able to use your sort. Okay, so that's where you will have to make a call how to apply a sorting. Okay, so this is like a few scenarios which you will see. Okay, so that is like your sort and sorted. Okay, so it again it sorts the elements here also. Okay, so that is one thing. In PySpark also we have like a sorting. We will try to do the ascending and descending in the DSL, which is nothing but your domain specific language, and in your SQL. But in Python, these are the things which it will be supporting. Okay, then we will be having like we have like max, we have min, we have average, we have all the things, but they are not available with this. Okay, so they are available with tuple or list. So you can apply your sum, min, max, average. Okay, all those things, play with your different data structures, and you should be able to get all those things. Okay, so I'm leaving it on top of you. If you have any issues or like any things which is stopping you to understand, please post in the WhatsApp group. Okay, so I'll revert with the answer to that. Okay, sometimes in interview they'll ask you, like, let's say I have a data which is of 10 records. Okay, and I want to generate what you say, generate a sequence number. Okay, there are various things which are available, but Python supports a enumerate, which is nothing but a iterable. Enumerate, which is nothing but a iterable. Okay, so what is enumerate? Okay, the enumerate method, okay, adds, what it adds counter to what, to an iterable. Okay, and what it return, this is very important, and it return and returns an iterable object. Okay, it returns an object. So we will not be able to see the data. To be able to see the data, again we'll have to do something on top of that, so that we will be able to see the data. Okay, so let's see couple of examples on uh, enumerate, how we can do. Okay, so mm, let's say I'm trying to define a grocery list. Okay, which is having nothing but my, let's say, bread, let's say I'm having an element called milk, and let's say I'm having an element called butter. Okay, I'm having three elements, okay, which is nothing but bread, milk, butter. Now let's say enum grocery equals to, okay, I'm trying to apply enumerate, okay, on the object which is not, sorry, on the iterable which is nothing but my grocery. Okay, and if I try to print control C and control V, and if I try to run this piece of code, it is giving me an enumerate object which I was telling about. Okay, it returns an iterable object. So we know what are the iterable objects. All the data structures are iterable object. Okay, so what you'll have to do is sometimes, sorry, if you want to see the output, simply you'll have to convert it. What I will do is I'll just apply a list on top of that, and if I try to execute this code, so if you see 0, 1 and 2, entirely it's a list, but inside that we have tuples. Okay, so 0, 1, 2. If you want to start, I think it not here, let's say where it is, so from where it is grocery, right here. So let's say print of list of, let's say here, if I want to start from 1, let me execute this code again. Yeah, cool. So if you see, my indexing was starting from 0, but I don't want to give my first row as a 0 value. Okay, I want to start it from 1. Okay, so again, like, you can start the indexing from wherever you require. Okay, that's your call. How, let's say if I'm just saying 100, so the indexing will start from there. Okay, so enumerate object is like again, like giving a counter to the elements inside an iterable object. Okay, so in PySpark, again, we have like different approaches. We can make use of your again, like, we can make use of zip index over there, or we can make use of like sequels like row num, and we can generate the sequence, or we can use the window clauses. So there are multiple approaches over there. Okay, or else we can define a Python function. Okay, and we can call the Python function on top of your data frame. That's how, again, how you can write your code. That's your code. Then let's try to loop it. Okay, so let's say I want to loop over my enumerate object. Enumerate object. Okay, so applying a for loop, applying a while loop, everything is possible. So again, like how you write the code. Okay, so what we will do is we will take like the same piece of code over here, or sorry, say the same list. Okay, and I'll just try to apply, let's say, for elements in, and this was like, let's say, enumerate of grocery, control C, and let's say I'll just close this. Okay, and simply what I will try to say, print all my elements. Okay, so how you are getting, so again, like your call, like if you want to start the indexing from 1, you can do that. And let's, if I don't want that, I can do this also. Okay, so it just removes your significance of your comma and your curly braces or whatever it could be. Okay, so that's like asterisk will do the trick for you. Okay, sometimes, like, again, ideally will not do this much in PySpark, because we as a data engineer, we will be playing with the data. Okay, all the manipulations based on the requirements, all those things we will be playing. But again, like, just few things which are coming, so I'm just trying to show on those things. What you can do is, okay, so let's say I want to the same output I can show in a different, so I'm getting this output, I can show in a different method also. Okay, so what could I have done is, let's say I could have applied a for loop, and I would have say count of elements in, and let me take this small as is. Okay, and but count of elements. Okay, and let's run this. Okay, I could have written like this also. So again, like how you are making, see, I just used of my count method which is given in like a list. Okay, so I've just made use of that. Again, it's your call how you use the code, how you write the code. It will depend in everything. So at the end, like, practice is essential, nothing else. The more you practice, the more you will get to know the scenarios. The more you do R&D, the more your confidence will grow. That's how it goes. Okay, as like we are data engineers and we work day in day out on this technology, so we are in rhythm. But you are trying to make a switch from other technology to this technology. So that's why whatever assignments which I am trying to give, don't try to do all the assignments on a given single day. Do every day. So let's say I'm trying to give 5 assignments. Do one assignment daily. So with that, what you are trying to do, you are trying to open your laptop every day, and every day you are trying to invest 15 to 20 minutes on the one assignment. It can happen like your assignment could finish in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or it could be take half an hour to 1 hour also. But as you keep opening your laptop and opening your VM daily, your mind will and your hands will start thinking in that rhythm. So I would suggest follow the same approach. Don't do all your assignments on a given single day. Okay, again, it's your call how you are able to do, and because you are the person who will be shaping your career. I am just guiding you. Okay, it's not that you need to take all my necessary instructions. Okay. Okay, so this was about your set. Okay, so we'll try to understand the dictionary and then we'll take a quick break. So dictionary. So dictionary, okay, dictionary is nothing but is the collection of key value pairs which we have seen last Sunday. Okay, key value pairs. Okay, where the value can be any where the value can be any object. Okay, and so the value. Okay, and keys keys are immutable in nature. ओके, सो ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ की वैल्यू डिफाइन करेंगे हम। अगर मल्टीपल कीज की अगर वैल्यू सेम रहेगी तो नेक्स्ट वैल्यू उसको ओवरराइड करेगी। सो कीज आर ठीक है। सो द कीज आर इम्यूटेबल इन नेचर। ओके, again, like it is enclosed in, it is separated by, so key values are separated, I would say. So value key values are separated by colon symbol. Okay, so which are separated by colon symbol. Okay, enclosed in curly braces. Okay, so that's what we have seen. And if we have multiple values for the same key, okay, so last value will be reflected for that key. Okay, so we have seen this last time. Okay, so that is what I meant to recall. And generally dictionaries are optimized way. Okay, because internally it is like because the based on key and value, so it stores the data with a hashable key, and based on that key the values are fetched. So that's why like considered to be dictionary are considered to be optimized for retrieving values, okay, from a large data set. Okay, because it goes based on your key and fetches the value, so it does not have to go multiple iterations. So that's why dictionaries are considered to be optimized. How you can create your dictionary? So my dict of one, now this we can create straight away, and this will give me an empty set, which we have seen a little while earlier. In the set, it was giving me the dictionary, but if you want to do that, so you just need to write my set of curly braces, that is parenthesis, then you will get but here it gives you the dictionary. Let's say my dict of one. Okay, my dict of one, sorry, not one, I would say two. And here I'm trying to define a key value pair. Okay, so let's say key is one, and let's say the value is, let's say, Sandeep. Okay, then let's say the key is, let's say, Seth. Okay, the value is, let's say, Python. Okay, so let's take three, and let's say Deepak. Okay, so you can define your keys, could be anything, it's not necessary it should be of the same type, it can be of any type. But if I just try to write, let's say, one again, or let's say Seth. Let's say if I'm just writing Seth over here again. Okay, and here I'm just trying to say, let's say he's a trainer, and let's try to print my dict of one, and let's quickly do Control C and Control V to change the value as 2, and let's execute this small code and see the output. Okay, so my dict, there is a typo error, so let's change that, and let's re-execute the code. So let's scroll, sorry, source code पे क्यों जा रहा है भाई? So let's scroll a little up. Okay, and let's paste this and let's re-execute this piece. Okay, so if you see, so Ceph, it had the redundant, sorry, not redundant, it had the same value for the same, sorry, it had the same value for the same key, which was Python and trainer. Okay, so the last value is getting overwritten, so no key can have two values, so that's what it says. Okay, so that's how, like, your, again, like in your let's say you can have the list also over here. So let's say Sandeep, let's say 1 comma 8, you can have the values like this also. So if I execute this piece, invalid syntax, sorry, so save.
Sandeep is a string.
Okay, so you can have a list or tuples or sets defined to your keys also. Okay, so again, like, play with all those things, then only you will come to know. Now accessing the elements is a little different over here as compared to your strings, list, and tuples. Again, like, not odd. So here we can access the elements using the keys. Okay, so while indexing is used, like, in again, we can make use of indexing here also, like, indexing of, if it has like a list as value assigned to a key, then we can make use of indexing also. But accessing elements, okay, so let's write, so while indexing, okay, let's write, while indexing, okay, while indexing is used, okay, with other data types to access values. Okay, so with other data structures, okay, to access values. Okay, so whereas whereas dictionary uses keys to search values. Okay, that's what I was trying to say a little while earlier. What we will do is we will take the same key, let's copy this, Control C, and let's paste this over here, and let's say this is just a my dictionary. Okay, so let's say my dict of, and let's say 0 1. Okay, so I'm just trying to say, not this, I should have seen the key. So let's say my dict of Seth, and let's print top off on that. Okay, so I'm just trying to do a copy of this and paste of this and execute this. Okay, so I'm trying to access the dictionary based on the key and the values are written. Okay, so the accessing becomes a little different, okay, as compared to your uh, other data structures. Okay, and A B C D E. So dictionaries, dictionary, D I C D I O D I O. Dictionaries are mutable in nature, which means that I can amend the value. Okay, so I can change the value. Okay, so what we will do is simply, let's say I'll take this Saf, which is, so let's say, in spite of Saf, let's take,
Shiv.
yeah,
Yeah, Deepak here.
yes,
So I just didn't get that like it has two values, safe as Python and safe as trainer. Why it got output trainer only?
because if you see, it is having the same key. So the key is safe and safe. So the first value is written, and then if it is having the same key, so the values gets overwritten. That's why, like, if you see a little while earlier, I have written this statement. If we have multiple values for the same key, if you see, for the same key, that is safe over here and safe over here, we have multiple values, that is trainer and Python. So whatever is the last value for that key will be reflected. So it gets overwritten for the same key. That's how the dictionary behaves.
Oh, okay, got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's say I want to replace, let's say, my dictionary. So what we will do is, sorry, we want to replace some element. So let's say my dict of 1 in place of Sandeep. Okay, so we will try to write, let's say Sandy. Okay, and let's print my dict. Okay, let's copy this piece and let's paste this piece. Okay, so if you, sorry, that's a typo. So let's write Sandy. Okay, so if you see, we are able to change the values. Okay, so again, like, you can apply all the relevant permutation and combinations. You can add, you can remove. Okay, you can do all those things because we have extensively seen in string and list. So I'm just trying to make a quick move in tuple, set, and dictionaries. Okay, now how we can apply loops on your dictionaries and get some values. Okay, so again, like, if you want to remove, you can use remove method. Okay, there are pop method. There are so many things. Again, what you will have to do is, you'll have to go to a dict and you'll have to see what all the methods which are available. Okay, so go to this method, explore them. Okay, and try to see what are the things which are available. Again, if you are feeling, okay, I'm not able to get this method appropriately, please post in the WhatsApp group. Hopefully I'll be able to revert with an answer. Okay, we'll try to apply a loop. Okay, so let's say let's say we are some students in the class, which we are attending, let's say, today. So let's say I am trying to define, let's say, name. Okay, so this is my key, and let's say the value is nothing, let's say Ram. The first one is, then let's say, sorry, let's say, let's say the year is nothing but my 2021. Okay, so we have name here. I'm just trying to define few key values. Let's say salary for this person is, let's say, 2000. Okay, and let's say the organization, let's say the org which he's working in, let's say, is TCS. Okay, so what I have done is simply I have defined a dictionary which is having key, which is having a value. So you know how your while loops and for loops, okay, they iterate on the iterable object element by element. Okay, so if you want to apply a loop on your dictionaries, okay, simply what you'll write for or let's say, yeah, for element in, let's say, students. Okay, so print your element or your values. So if I just try to do a copy and your paste, it will give me all the values of your respective. sorry, if you see name here, so it is giving me all my what do you say, it is giving me all my iterable keys. Now if I want to find out the values, what we'll have to do is we'll have to just paste this same piece of code, okay, and we'll just have to say student dot keys. We'll have, and this is a method call, okay. So if you just execute this, name here, so for element in student dot keys, so name का राम क्यों नहीं आ रहा है? Okay, I want to get values, my mistake. Sorry, let it be. So this is we are trying to print keys, so it is giving me the keys. If you want to get the values, okay, so I'm copying the same piece of code from here, okay, and what you have to do is you just need to replace keys with values, okay. So let's go values and let's execute this. Hopefully now we should be able to get the output. So if we are trying to apply a for loop, okay, so it is iterating on keys, so we are getting the keys as an output, okay. So remember the small differences. Now if I just try to say items, okay, and if I execute this, so we are getting the entire key value, okay. There will be scenarios where you will have to iterate over the values or over both the elements, so based on that you'll have to write the code, okay. So again it becomes like how you play with the things, okay. So playing will be very important. How you play, how you don't play, for that you need to understand how your iterables are behaving, okay. How can I access them? Are they mutable, not mutable? Are they accessed by indexes or are they accessed by keys, values, and so on, okay. Okay, so I just discussed like the then what I can say is ठीक then what in dictionary what else I can
Saif, Sandeep
yes
is
Sandeep.
it is possible to retrieve key using its value.
Its value say key, I don't think so. What you will have to do is you'll have to get items, and based on the items then you'll have to do, let's say, indexing of, let's say, first element or second element and so on. But based on values, it is just giving us the value, so you will not be able to find out the keys,
Okay.
okay. That's what
Hmm.
I am able to recall at least. Okay, so what were the methods which were available? I think most of the thing we have covered, right? So once we cover like one data structure, most of the methods are like repeatable. Okay, okay. If you remember a little while earlier, I told you about shallow copy and deep copy. Okay, I'm not sure whether will this be asked in interview or not, but sometimes I don't know what could be the scenario. They may or may not ask. Okay, so do we know what is a shallow copy and a deep copy? What do you mean by shallow copy and deep copy? Okay, no issues. Cool. So what I will try to
I
do is,
think
let's say I'm trying to
yeah.
define 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4, comma 5. Okay. So what I've done, I've defined a list. Okay. What I'm trying to do is, I am trying to assign A is B equals to B, and I'm trying to do a print of B. Okay. So if I do Control C and if I do paste over here, okay, so I'm getting the same value, which is nothing but which is available in A. Okay, ठीक है. So this is nothing but a deep copy. So what we will do is let's try to change some value. mm, let's say B of zeroth element, which is nothing but 1. Okay, let's change it to deep. Okay, let's execute this piece. Okay, so we are getting the value, right? So ठीक है, let's understand. And shallow copy, I think it does not behave. That's what I, so let me remove this and we will just say no, let it be b equals to a dot copy. Okay, so this is like shadow. Let's execute this piece. यहाँ पे भी replace हो रहा है, deep copy में वो वहां तक जाता है, तो shadow copy में
This is DJ. For the first one, do you want to do print of A since you changed B?
well, let me do in a similar way. If I do like this, and let me run this. So this is changing in both, because what I'm able to recall, let's comment this out. Let's execute this piece. Yeah, now I'm able to make some differences. Okay, so now if you see, I'm trying to make some changes. Okay, so if you see, this is the list which is A. Okay, then I'm trying to change some value. So let's say I'm trying to say deep. Okay, so this is an example of shallow copy. I should have said SHALLOW, but before that I should have written B equals to A dot copy. If I'm copying that element, okay, so I'm getting B में A आ गया है ना, फिर मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, उसको replace कर रहा हूँ. Let's execute this. Yeah, so if you see now, this is giving me an example of like shallow. Shallow means like something similar to your shadow. So it is changing only so it is changing in only in the newer terms. Okay, that's what it says. But if I try to remove this, okay, and let's comment this, and now let's try to execute this. Okay, I should have changed this to deep. So when it comes to deep, which means like it is changing the original value as well as the new value. Okay, that's how you'll have to differentiate between your deep and shallow. So the name itself suggests deep, it is going till the root, and shallow, it is just keeping an existent to the current only. Okay, remember that. Okay, so items, keys, values. Okay, if you remember, like we have like a little while earlier, we have written something called update. Okay, so I think let's understand how this update behaves. So let's copy this piece of code. Control C, Control V. Play with this deep and shallow. Hopefully, you'll be able to understand. Okay, update. So update, what it does is it adds an element to the dictionary if the key is not in the dictionary. Okay, and if the key is in dictionary, it will update the value. That's what it says. So update method, what it will do, add if the value is not available, okay, and update if it's available. Okay, so what we will do is we'll try to define my dictionary. Okay, and let's copy this as is quickly. Control C, Control V. Okay, and what we will try to do is, okay, so let's say d1 equals to, let's do on the same thing. So let's say my dict equals to, let's give some value. So we have name, we have year. Okay, so let's give month. Okay, so in a single quote, what I'm trying to give is, let's say I'm trying to assign a month, and let's say the month is nothing but my October. Okay, so let's copy this small piece and execute this piece, and we'll have to print my dict. Okay, so again, like it is like updatable, so you can add it. If you want to replace that, you can replace it. That's what you can do. Okay, so similar fashion, your pop will remove the elements. Okay, same thing what we have seen a little while earlier, so you can do all those things. Okay, and if you don't want the output like this, so let's say d1 and let's say print d1. D1 is not defined. My dict dot update. I did not apply a update only, and I was trying to explain that. It was my mistake. Sorry. My dict dot update. So the syntax. So let's say I'm trying to up D1, and this is my D1, which is some value. And what I'm trying to do is, so the original is my dictionary, and I'm trying to update. What I'm trying to update? I'm trying to update the new value, right? And I want to print my original dictionary, which is nothing but my dict, right? And let's execute this piece. Okay, so we are able to get the output. Okay, so again, like, play with all your data structures, and I think like that should be like more than sufficient. Okay, so what we will do is we'll take a break of quick uh, 10 minutes. Any questions before that? I hope like things are able to understand. It's like okay, so today what we will try to see, the last thing is, okay, so the last thing is like we'll try to understand for today is list comprehension. Okay, it gives you a very elegant way to write the code, but I feel, that's my personal view. Okay, so I feel like, again, like it gives a little easy, means like a little complexity while writing and reading it gives a simple, but again, for me, I have felt that way. That's why like we prefer or tend to code in the old traditional for loops only. Okay, but again, it's your individual choice how you go with your coding areas. Okay, so what is list comprehension? Okay, so it's an elegant way, or it's a very good way, that's what they say. Okay, it's an elegant way to define. Okay, so define your comprehension using dictionary, sets, tuples, or list. That's why it say list. It's an elegant way to define your code. Okay, that's what it says. List in Python. Okay, so let's list in Python. Okay, which is consisting of square brackets. Okay, so consisting of square brackets. That's what we know usually. It contains an expression. Okay, and followed by a for clause. Okay, that's how your syntaxing or your writing of your list goes. Okay, so what they say is it is efficient in in terms of coding space and time. That's what it says. Okay, so how the syntax will be going for comprehensions. So this is how. Okay, so you will apply a for loop. Okay, so your logic will come. Let's say your for loop will become, let's say if you want to write some if conditions, you can write if conditions. Okay, and the expressions which you want to write, you can write your expressions. Okay, so that's how your syntax goes for any comprehension, may it be list, set, tuple, and dictionary. Okay, we'll try to understand with all the four variants step by step. Okay, so first let's understand list comprehension. Okay, so the first thing is nothing but my list comprehension. Okay, so let's say I am trying to define a list which is an empty list. Okay, so let's say this is an empty list, and let's say I'm trying to define an identifier which holds a value which is nothing but my Python. Okay, I'm trying to apply a loop for I in, okay, for I in X. Okay, I'm trying to apply a loop, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to append in an empty list. So I'm trying to make a append call. Okay, append method call, and what I'll do is simply I'll try to print letter. Okay, so this should have been ltr.append. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to write a small code using a for loop. Okay, and let's try to see. First, let's test whether it's working. Okay, it's working. Okay. Now, if I want to apply the same using a for list comprehension, how I will proceed with it. Okay. So I'm trying to define a identifier or a variable that is nothing but my Python. Okay. And let's say I'm trying to say letter. Okay. And here, sorry, should have written equal to. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is, let's say for I in X. Okay. That is what I am trying to do, right? And what we are trying to do, we are trying to write letter dot append of I, right? So here I would be getting all the value, right? So by default, it will be nothing but if I just simply write I, and if I just say print of letter, and let me execute this piece of code and run this. Okay, I'm getting the same result. Okay, so what it is doing for I in X, it is getting added into this. So that's how it is working. So same code, if you see, like I have used two lines over here, but in a single line and a single statement, I have achieved that using a list comprehension. That's what they say, like in terms of coding space. Again, but again, like writing, it's your call, as I am generally saying. Many things which we can do with the for loops, the same can be done with list comprehension. Okay, so let's do one more thing. So we'll try to do loop numbers. Okay, and let's say I'll try to define an empty list, and for let's say number in range of, let's say 1 to 100, let's say 1 to 100. Okay, and I'll try to say loop underscore number, the same thing I'm trying to just do the same thing. So I'm trying to append the number. Okay, so print my loop underscore number, and if I just execute, it will be just giving me the numbers generated from 1 to 100. Okay, I'm just trying to apply a loop. Okay, and I'm trying to iterate on this given range from 1 to 100. Upper bound is skipped. Okay, if you wish to do the same thing, again the same process you can, which I have done a little while earlier, you can do. So let's say I'm trying to say number, I'm trying to use a list comprehension. Okay, so we'll try to apply a for loop, that is for, let's say number in range of, let's say 101. And what I will try to do is I will just write numbers, and here I'll say print of my no. Okay, control C, and let's do control B. Okay, how you write, again it becomes, let's say after that, if you want to apply your if conditions, you can do that also. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to copy this as is. Okay, so let's say I'm trying to write a if condition. If my number mod of, mod of 5 equal to 0, and let's execute this piece of code. Okay, so whatever the numbers are starting from what are the numbers which are divisible by 5, I'm trying to get. So it becomes like writing the code, it becomes elegant, like it looks clean and tidy, and it occupies less space and executes. But again, like I feel like, that's my personal opinion, I feel like it sometimes when we go to the higher level of code, it becomes a little tricky. Okay, but again, that's your call how you play with it. Okay, so that will be like how you write your list comprehension. Okay, then we'll try to see list comprehension with sets. Okay, so what we will do is, let's say I will define let's come over here, let's say I'm trying to define a inventory. Okay, and what we will do is, let's define a list. Okay, and here I'm trying to say, let's say car 1. Here I'm trying to say, let's say car 2. Okay, then again in here I'm trying to say, let's say car 1, which is repeated. Okay, that is a thing. Then few things, let's say 1, let's say 1 comma 2 comma 2, and finally I will say, let's say let's say small saf, and let's say initialize, and finally I will say in caps. Again, we have tested that earlier, but again it's okay. Okay, so what I've done is I've defined let's say value. Okay, let's say val. Okay, which has some values. So let me quickly copy this and let me bring this over here. Okay, and this is missing, so let's write this. Now what I am trying to do is, okay, so what I want is, okay, first thing is, let's say whatever the possible values are there. Okay, so if you see, and let's remove this. Let's keep the in string itself, and let's change the, so uh, let's copy this quickly and let's paste this over here. What I'm trying to do or show over here is, okay, so if you see over here we have car. Okay, the case are of different types, that is the first thing. And here also, here I have duplicate values. Okay, so I will be able to remove that. So let's see how we can do that. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is, let's say I'm trying to, capital SAIF, close this list, and let's say I'm trying to, let's say empty list equals to, okay, I'm trying to define an empty list, and I'm trying to iterate on that iterable object that is nothing but val, right? Then the empty list, okay, empty list dot append. Now when I'm trying to append, what I need to do is, okay, for every word I need to initialize the letter in a capital. That's what I need to do. That is what my requirement says is, okay. So what I will do is, okay, so the values will be coming in I, right? From I of, okay, so let's say this is I of which is coming over here. So I need to go from, let's say 0 to 1th element. Okay, so 0 to 1th, so the first letter, and I need to make that as an upper. Okay, so I'll just try to write a upper method on top of that. Done. Then the remaining should made as lower, so I'll do a concatenation of the strings. So we know the concatenation operator, as we have seen that. And let's say I of, it will start from the first position, it will go to the end, and it will convert everything to my lower. Okay, and finally I will try to print my empty list. Hopefully the syntax and the code is appropriate. We should get the values in a single, means like initial caps. That's what the code is written for. Okay, cool. So if you see, I'm able to initialize. See, the data was like coming like in the different formats, and I have tried to initialize everything. Okay, and on top of that, if I just want to do so, I can just write set of this, and if I execute this, double rev. Sorry, I did not give the closing parenthesis. Okay, so again like R1, R2, and save. So I'm able to remove your duplicates. So the same thing now, if you want to do, okay, using your list comprehension, a little. tweaky it would be, but just understand, try to understand, and I'll try my best. Okay, so let's say the result equals to, okay, so this is the list, right? So let's copy this list, control C, control V over here. Okay, now this is the result. So list comprehension using set. Okay, I'll try to do. So first of all, I'll try to apply a for loop. Okay, so for I in val. Okay, so this is what we have written. So we are trying to iterate on this. Done. Then what we need to do on this. Okay, so simply what I need to do is nothing but val. Okay, and in spite of doing this, I can just, okay, so let's write that. So val of, I think I'll be able to quickly copy this piece of code as is. Okay, and I'll just remove this and I'll paste this over here. In place of I'll just write val. I think that should do the trick for us. Okay, and what we will do, we will say print result. Let's do and execute this. Okay, so list object has no upper range. Okay, so list में नहीं है वो, ठीक है. So we'll have to change the code a little. So the val, okay, which is nothing but, so colon one dot upper, it is concatenating to dot lower for I in val. So it is telling list
I think
object
it
has
should
no
be
retrieval.
I of the column
अरे यार
inputs.
मेरी mistake. I of, right, because I'm iterating on that, not on val, because it's already coming from val to, sorry, it's my mistake. So from val it was coming to I. Okay, so control C. Let's go a little top. Okay, and let's eradicate this and re-execute this. Okay, so it is doing the same work what earlier was doing, but again, like, see, again, I'm not so comfortable while writing the for comprehensions. Okay, so the list comprehensions to be precise, but if you make a practice, it becomes easy to write the code. Play with it. Hopefully you will get more understanding and more thing. Okay, so that was like a thing. Let's understand with a dictionary. Okay, so let's copy this, control C, and let's do the list comprehension with dictionary. Dictionary. Okay, so what I will do is, let's say I'm trying to define a dictionary which is saying nothing but my population. Okay, let's define a key value. Okay, and let's say for city 1, I have some value which is, let's say, 100. Okay, let's say for city 2, okay, I have some value that is 200, and finally I have a city 3 that is having a value called 300. So this is a dictionary. Okay, let's say I want to find out, let's say, total population. So let's say total population. Okay, I'm trying to define, so it's 0 because in summation it will not contain empty list. Okay, so what I'll do is for I in, okay, I will just try to take the identifier, and from that I want to iterate not on my keys, but I want to iterate on my values. So that's why I'm trying to write my values, and then what I'll try to do is I'll just try to do plus equals to my, it is coming into, so the population values is coming into I, right? So I'll just do that, and finally I will say print my output. And if you want to print in like dictionary, you can do that also. So it's just like total population equals to, okay, and that will be nothing but your total population, which is the identifier which we have defined. So I'm just trying to do the sum of values based on sum of values of the dictionary, and okay, and I'm trying to print in a dictionary as an output. Okay, so 3 plus 2 plus 5 plus 1 6, I'm getting a value as 600. Okay, so the same thing I can do with my I can do with my for comprehension also. Okay, so ठीक है, so let's write total population. Okay, and dictionary, right? So the first is nothing but my value, sorry, key, total population. This is nothing but my key. Then the value, ठीक है? So value के लिए what I'll write for I in, so it is going on to my population, right? So let me copy that. So for I in population dot values, okay, so it's a method call, then sum of I, right? So if I just write sum of I, and let's print my identifier, which is nothing but my total population. Let's copy this and execute this. Int object is not iterable. Okay, so जो मेरा I आ रहा है वो iterable नहीं है. Okay, so what we will do is, if that is not iterable, we'll make that as a list. So if I try to do like this, will this piece work? Control C, Control V. Okay, I'm getting the output. Okay, so there was just like a parenthesis here and there. Okay, so if you see, I have written a for comprehension. Okay, so sum of I, whatever that value is coming in I, on top of that I'm trying to apply a sum. Okay, for single value it becomes very easy, but sometimes let's take there are multiple elements, okay, assigned. So what I mean to say is, let's say, let's copy this dictionary. Okay, so let's say this is my population, let's say population dictionary. Okay, so what I will do is, let's say city 1, and inside this I'll write, let's say, city 2. Okay, and here we have like a value called 100. So we'll try to define a list and we will say 100 comma 200, and I'm just closing this. Okay, and let's take city 3. Okay, let's say city 4, and let's say city 5. I'll just remove this. I'll just take only. So here what I will say is, let's say in a list we will try to say, let's say I have value 300, I have value 400, and I have value 500. So this is your dictionary. Okay, so let's say this is the dictionary which is given to us. Okay, in this, if you see, we have two values and corresponding that values as assigned. Here we having key, ideally the key is 1. Okay, but if you see, there are 3 values which are assigned. Now what I need to do is, okay, so let's say for this key I need to find the sum. For this key I need to find the sum. Let's say this is your scenario. Okay, so let's say result equals to, okay, so we will try to do what? Okay, so let's say mm, uh, multiple total population. Okay, so this is my key. Okay, then so there are two. ठीक है, first फिर बाद में तीसरे पे जाएगा. Okay, so what I will do is, I'll just do, so for x comma y. Okay, see how this I am trying to do is, so I'm taking two values. So here let's take, there are 3 values. So first it will apply on these two, so that is 300 plus 400, it will become 700. It will give me some value, so 700, then 700 plus cd5, which is nothing but 700 plus 500 and 1200. That's how your logic will flow, based on like two assignments which I'm trying to do for x comma y. Okay, so for x comma y in population underscore dict के वजह, I'll just take items so that the both the values will come. Okay, so this, yeah, see now here I'm taking items. If you remember a little while earlier, when we do items, we get the key also and we get the value also. Okay, so what it will do, it will try to do the computation. Okay, it will give me some key and the new value, then it will take that with the city 5 and it's so on. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do over here. Okay, so I just need to write sum of second value, that is nothing but y, right? So मेरी डिक्शनरी आएगी, so डिक्शनरी में I'll get something like 1,100. So based on 100 I need to do the summation. Looks good to me. Let's execute and let's see what is, if we get an error, we'll try to debug that. So, and we need to, let's go at the end and let's try to print my result. Let's execute this piece. Okay, so the total population is 1200. So Pachar North in Bara, right? So it is overwriting on the same key, but I don't want to do that. So what we will do is we will change this. We will change this code because I'm not getting that for multi. Let's say for every x, I need to do the s iteration. Let me change this piece of code. Okay, so because it is having the same key, that's why it is giving some issue. City 1, city 2 is not populating. Yeah. If you see, now we are getting the result. Okay, so if I just copy this piece of code and if I just paste this over here, okay, so what we have done is, okay, so this is x and this is y. Okay, so we are trying to do, like, for x and y, we are just trying to iterate on the dictionary items. Okay, and we are trying to do, see, x is nothing but this. Okay, y is nothing but this. Sorry, x is nothing but this and y is nothing but this. Okay, so we are just doing the summation of this only. So that's why 200 plus 100 we are getting 300, and 3 plus 4 is 9, plus 5 is, sorry, 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 5 is 12. Okay, so that's why we are getting over here is 1200. Okay, so the code is working as appropriate. Okay, so this is how you'll have to write your comprehensions with list, sets, and dictionary. Explore, you'll get to know more on that. Okay, any questions?
Yes, sir, for sure. Here, I have one question.
Yes, Varsha.
Initial with the list comprehension, we use a range and we printed some values. But after that, I was not able to follow like list comprehension. What I have studied is like it will return another list after doing some calculation.
Mm-hmm.
But how we are doing
How we are doing?
and set. It's like I'm not able to understand how this list comprehension is working with set and the dictionary.
Okay, so see, list, it, see, when you say list comprehension, it is not that it will work only with list. It's just the name they have given, list comprehension. Okay, ideally it is, if you see over here, it is working with list, no doubt about that. Okay, they have not given like set comprehension or dictionary comprehension. So we can apply this list comprehension, which is available with a list, on sets and dictionary also. Okay, but when we are applying, if you see, this is list what we are trying to define, right? Okay, so
Yes.
here if you see the same thing which I am trying to do, here I am trying to use a, like a set property, that is nothing but your curly braces, correct? So that is getting, so this is a list, okay, which is getting up the comprehension which is getting applied on a set. That's how you will have to remember. It's not that specifically it's made for only list. It's nothing like that. You can make it work with your list, dictionary, and sets also. No restrictions.
But this highlighted line is a dictionary, I suppose. Like the dictionary will be having
No,
the
this
curly braces.
highlighted is not a dictionary. It's a set, because it is not having a key and value. So key and
Mm,
value is over here, Varsha. So if you see, key and value is over here. So if you see
okay.
city, this is my key, and 100 or 200 means a combination of 100 and 200, two elements are my values.
Okay. And the set, like in the bracket only, like we can use, right? as you told, like
Yes.
is how
So
we define the set.
yeah, the set curly braces.
Curly braces. Okay, okay, okay.
That's like how the definition of set comes. You'll have to use your curly braces. Okay, even your dictionary uses curly braces, but the differentiation between set and is like it has dictionary has your key, then a colon symbol, and then value, whereas your set it's like elements which are enclosed in curly braces.
Okay, got it,
Okay,
got it.
and don't take like the bottom line that list comprehension will only work with list. It's like again like how you write it.
Okay, okay.
Okay, I'll try to. I'm sorry. I'll stop the recording. I'll take questions.